Story 38, The Monkey Garden. It really was a garden with a monkey in it at one point. And it's also where some people made Esperanza feel like a monkey herself for doing something that she thought was right. The monkey garden was a very pretty, lush garden which belonged to a family who owned a pet monkey, and that's why they called it the monkey garden. Once they moved, however, it became an overgrown junkyard, a place where people dumped their trash and left their old cars to rot away. Esperanza writes on page 95, "Things had a way of disappearing in the garden, as if the garden itself ate them, or as if with its old man memory, it put them away and forgot them." The kids liked to play there because that became a wonderful fantasy land for them, they could just play freely in. They could hide away from the grown-ups and just be free to be kids and play their imaginative games. But, as with all good things, one day something happened to take that special place away from Esperanza. It no longer represented a place of childhood purity for her. And, surprise, surprise, it all had to do with Sally. Sally was flirting with Tito and his friends, and they took her keys, and they said that she'd have to kiss all of them if she wanted to get her keys back. And of course Sally said, okay. Yeah, surprise, right? And they went into the monkey garden. Now Esperanza is very loyal and protective of Sally, whom she admires and whom she feels very sad for. And so this whole situation, this whole series of events alarmed Esperanza. And this is for a girl who cares more about running with the boys and kissing them. So she sees this whole thing as, these boys are taking advantage of Sally. And Esperanza writes that she felt angry inside, that something wasn't right. And she was dang right about that, That anger boiled up from the times Esperanza herself was taken advantage of by males, that she thought that she could have trusted. She remembers how dirty she felt, and she wants to protect Sally from the injustice of all of that. Esperanza goes to tell Tito's mom about what's happening, but the woman, she just doesn't care. And here is another example of a weak woman who just lets men do whatever the heck they please. So, Esperanza, being the strong-willed woman, young woman that she is, she feels that she has to take matters into her own hands because to her, Sally needed to be saved. So Esperanza arms herself with 3 big sticks and a brick, except on page 97, when I got there, Sally said, "Go home." Those boys said, "Leave us alone." I felt stupid with my brick. They all looked at me as if I was the one that was crazy and made me feel ashamed. And then, I don't know why, but I had to run away. I had to hide myself at the other end of the garden, in the jungle part, under a tree that wouldn't mind if I lay down and cried a long time. I closed my eyes like tight stars so that I wouldn't, but I did. My face felt hot. Everything inside hiccuped. And I totally understand how Esperanza feels. She feels ashamed for trying to help her friend who didn't even want help. But Sally, she was a willing participant in this whole game. What was a game to them, but Esperanza saw it as an unfair power struggle between these males and her female friend Sally. But Sally, she needs saving, all right. She needs to be saved from herself. And a lot could be said about that. Esperanza hides in the garden, and she's sitting there all curled up on herself, willing her heart to stop. She's just scared and confused, and she wants to die because of the shame she feels. She went in to save her friend, and she came out feeling like a fool. So Esperanza went into the garden, an innocent, playful kid, and she came out of that garden scared, sullied, dirty, not understanding what was going on with Sally at all, because she and Sally are on 2 completely different levels when it comes to sexual maturity. Again, Esperanza She's a virgin still. You know, she has yet to like have her first real kiss. She's still fantasizing about, you know, a little schoolboy crush, that kind of thing. And Sally, you know, Sally's got the short skirt, the makeup going, and we know that she's sleeping with somebody. So, yeah, Esperanza, she's very hurt in this chapter, to the point where she just wants to die. Red clowns. Sally, you lied. It wasn't what you said at all. What he did. Where he touched me. I didn't want it, Sally. The way they said it. The way it's supposed to be. All the storybooks and movies. Why did you lie to me? I was waiting by the red clowns. I was standing by the tilt-a-whirl where you said. And anyway, I don't like carnivals. I went to be with you because you laugh on the tilt-a-whirl. You throw your head back and laugh. I hold your change, wave, count how many times you go by. Those boys that look at you because you're pretty. I like to be with you, Sally. You're my friend. But that big boy, where did he take you? I waited such a long time. I waited by the red clowns, just like you said. But you never came. You never came for me. Sally, Sally, 100 times. Why didn't you hear me when I called? Why didn't you tell them to leave me alone? The one who grabbed me by the arm, he wouldn't let me go. He said, I love you, Spanish girl. I love you. And pressed his sour mouth to mine. Sally, make him stop. I couldn't make them go away. I couldn't do anything but cry. I don't remember. It was dark. I don't remember. I don't remember. Please don't make me tell it all. Why did you leave me all alone? I waited my whole life. You're a liar. They all lied. All the books and magazines. Everything that told it wrong. Only his dirty fingernails against my skin. Only his sour smell again. The moon that watched. The tilt-a-whirl. The red clowns laughing their thick tongue laugh. Then the colors began to swirl. Sky tipped. Their high black gym shoes ran. Sally, you lied. You lied. He wouldn't let me go. He said, I love you. I love you, Spanish girl. So Esperanza goes with Sally to the amusement park because she likes how fun and relaxed Sally becomes when they're there. But while waiting for Sally, Esperanza is accosted by some non-Hispanic guys and she's sexually assaulted. No one comes to her rescue. Up until now, Esperanza mostly related sex with love and marriage. You know, she'd read in books and magazines how nice and sweet sex is supposed to be. Well, even the things Sally told her made sex seem like a nice experience. This event, however, connected sex with the ultimate of violations for Esperanza. You know, how can she recover from this one? So Esperanza really sees what kind of friend Sally is in this chapter. She's only concerned with herself. Esperanza is calling out for her friend to save her. Sally, Sally, where are you? Please make them stop. Sally, where are you? Please. Sally doesn't come. No one comes. Esperanza was ready to save Sally. She came armed, you know, ready to do whatever she had to do. But where was Sally when Esperanza needed her? No one. No one tried to save Esperanza. Where's the love and the loyalty for her? Linoleum Roses. As expected, Sally found her way out of her father's home through another man. She got married. Not even 14 yet, and this salesman's guy took her to some state where it's legal to marry a child, essentially. Sally says she likes being married because she can buy her own things now, but of course it's only when her husband gives her money. Even though he's okay most days, Sally's husband can be abusive, and he can become very, very angry and, beat on her. But he's very controlling, which is something that we see, a trend that we see in a lot of the men that Esperanza knows in her neighborhood. She's not allowed to look out of the window, much less even have friends come visit her at the house. She's even afraid to go outside without her husband's permission. Yeah. Esperanza writes about Sally. She looks at all the things they own, the towels and the toaster, the alarm clock and the drapes. She likes looking at the walls, at how neatly their corners meet, the linoleum roses on the floor, the ceiling smooth as wedding cake. So, Sally thinks she hit it big, right? She hit the jackpot. But does she really believe that she escaped her father's household? I mean, to me, it seems like she just jumped from one fire into the next, from an abusive father to now an abusive husband. I think if we've seen movies and just, been watching TV and just listen to things going on in the world, that's a trend. That probably didn't come as a shock to you when you read this chapter. But this one seems a little bit worse because she's married to this guy. She probably can't go back home after this. So what can she do? If she wanted to, how could she escape this situation? Sally has no education and no skills except allowing her body to be used, She is yet another female in Esperanza's life who has used a man to escape her present situation, thereby effectively trapping herself in a prison that she's made for herself. Everything Esperanza does not want to happen to her.